It's 3 in the morning, and you're awake staring at the ceiling. It's not insomnia, not specific anxiety. It's something more subtle and deeper. It's that sensation that has accompanied you for months, maybe years, the inexplicable certainty that something fundamental is missing from your existence. You have work, perhaps a partner, friends, goals you've accomplished, but that silent restlessness persists, whispering that your life, however complete it may seem from the outside, has an emptiness you don't know how to fill or even how to name. This isn't the typical midlife crisis or boredom with routine. It's more primitive, more ancestral. It's as if your soul remembered something your mind has forgotten, as if you had lost the keys to a door you don't even remember closing. And what's most bewildering is that this feeling appears precisely when things are going well, when you should be grateful, when all your practical problems are solved. It's there in that moment of apparent fullness, when the sensation of emptiness becomes most intense, most undeniable. What you're experiencing isn't a personal failure or mental illness. It is, paradoxically, one of the most universal and least understood experiences of the human condition. From existentialist philosophers to mystics of all traditions, this fundamental emptiness has been recognized as the gateway to something much deeper than simple satisfaction of basic needs. Viktor Frankl called it existential vacuum. Carl Jung identified it as the soul's call toward individuation. And Buddhists recognize it as the first noble truth, the inherent dissatisfaction of human existence when disconnected from its deepest purpose. The problem is, we live in a culture that has pathologized this emptiness instead of honoring it for what it really is, an inner compass pointing toward our most authentic growth. We've learned to fill it with distractions, consumption, relationships, achievements, entertainment, anything that silences that uncomfortable voice whispering that there's something more. But like a river finding its natural course, this emptiness always returns, because it's not a problem to solve, but an invitation to accept. Modern society has sold us the illusion that fulfillment comes from accumulating experiences, possessions, recognition, pleasures. We've been convinced we're desire machines that can be satisfied with the right fuel. But the human soul doesn't operate under that mechanical logic. The soul operates under the logic of meaning, connection, transcendence. And when we feed only the ego and leave the soul hungry, that sensation of emptiness appears that no amount of external achievements can fill. This emptiness has a specific anatomy we can explore to better understand it. Imagine it as an inner landscape with different territories, each representing an aspect of what your deepest being truly needs to feel complete. These aren't needs you can satisfy by buying something or achieving something, but dimensions of human experience that require cultivation, attention, presence. The first territory of this emptiness is what we could call disconnection from authentic purpose. I'm not referring to having a passion or a career you enjoy, but that deep sensation that your life is aligned with something greater than your personal survival. Human beings are creatures of meaning, not just pleasure. We need to feel that our existence contributes to something transcendent, that our days don't evaporate in routine, but build something lasting. When this connection breaks, that characteristic emptiness appears that no professional success can fill. You can have the best career in the world, but if you don't feel your work touches something sacred in you, if you don't perceive the connection between what you do and who you really are, that emptiness will persist like a faithful shadow. The second territory is disconnection from authentic intimacy. We live surrounded by people but profoundly alone. We have hundreds of contacts in our phones, constant conversations, social networks full of interactions, but very few opportunities to be seen and known in our most real vulnerability. Authentic intimacy isn't just romantic, it's that experience of being understood in your complexity, being accepted in your contradictions, being able to show your fears and dreams without fear of judgment. When we live only on the surface of relationships, When our social masks become so habitual, we forget who's beneath them. A relational emptiness appears that no amount of popularity or admiration can fill. The third territory is disconnection from mystery and the sacred. Human beings have evolved for millennia, feeling reverence for forces greater than ourselves. Nature, cosmic cycles, the divine in its multiple manifestations. But modern life has locked us in concrete boxes, disconnected us from natural rhythms, made us forget we're part of something infinitely vaster and more mysterious than our daily problems. When we lose that connection with the sacred, when everything becomes explainable and controllable and predictable, a spiritual emptiness appears that no amount of entertainment or stimulation can satisfy. The soul needs awe, needs mystery, needs to feel it's part of something greater than immediate reality. The fourth territory is disconnection from your authentic creative nature. All human beings are inherently creative, but not necessarily in the traditional artistic sense. Creativity is the capacity to bring something new into the world, to express your unique perspective, to leave a distinctive mark on reality. It can be through art, but also through how you solve problems, how you relate to others, how you organize your space, how you live your life. When this creative expression is blocked, when we live only reproducing external patterns without contributing our unique essence, a creative emptiness appears that no consumption of art or entertainment can fill. We need to be co-creators of reality, not just passive consumers. The fifth territory is disconnection from growth and transformation. Human beings aren't designed for absolute stability. We're designed to grow, evolve, expand our understanding, deepen our wisdom. When life becomes too comfortable, too predictable, too controlled, an evolutionary emptiness appears that no material comfort can satisfy. The soul needs challenges that force it to expand, needs problems that compel it to develop new capacities, needs mysteries that invite it to transcend its current limitations. Excessive comfort, paradoxically, can be as toxic to growth as extreme adversity, but here comes the insight that changes everything. This emptiness isn't your enemy, it's your wisest ally. It's not a deficiency to repair, but an intelligence to honor. It's the way your deepest being communicates that you've grown beyond your current configuration, that you're ready for a more expansive version of yourself. It's like a snake that needs to shed its skin. The discomfort doesn't mean something's wrong. It means something's ready to be born. Modern culture has taught us to flee from discomfort, to silence emptiness with distractions, to medicate it with pleasures, to deny it with positive affirmations. But the great spiritual masters of all traditions have taught exactly the opposite, that this emptiness is sacred, that it's the space where a more authentic version of yourself can emerge. Christian mystics called it the dark night of the soul. Buddhists recognize it as the noble suffering that leads to liberation. Transpersonal psychologists identify it as the crisis that precedes transformation. The emptiness you feel isn't evidence that your life is wrong. It's evidence that your soul is alive and clamoring to evolve. It's not a sign that you need more things, but that you need more depth. It's not an indication that something is externally lacking, but that something wants to be born internally. It's your wisest being telling you that you've outgrown your current identity and are ready to expand toward who you truly came to be. This perspective changes everything, because it transforms the experience of emptiness from a problem to solve into a portal to traverse. Instead of trying to fill it, you can learn to inhabit it consciously. Instead of escaping from it, you can use it as fuel for your transformation. Emptiness isn't the absence of something, it's the presence of pure potential. It's the space where a more integrated and authentic version of your being can manifest. When you begin to relate to emptiness from this perspective, something fundamental changes in your experience. You no longer need to compulsively fill it with distractions or achievements. You can allow it to exist. You can breathe into it. You can use it as a laboratory to explore who you really are beyond your social roles and habitual identifications. You can begin to ask not, "What am I missing?" but "What wants to emerge through me?" The path to transcending this emptiness doesn't involve eliminating it, but relating to it more consciously and creatively. It's a process that requires courage, because it implies releasing the control strategies you've used to manage life's uncertainty. It's a path that requires patience, because authentic transformation doesn't follow ego time, but the slower, deeper rhythms of the soul. Begin by recognizing that emptiness is information, not pathology. It's your internal navigation system pointing toward areas of your life that need attention, growth, realignment. Instead of judging or resisting it, you can begin listening to it with curiosity. What is it trying to communicate to you? Where is it inviting you to grow? What aspects of your authentic nature are asking for more space to express themselves? Cultivate moments of silence and solitude where you can be with emptiness without needing to fill it immediately. Our culture has terror of silence because it's in silence where emptiness becomes most evident. But it's also in silence where you can begin to distinguish between the noise of the anxious mind and the quiet wisdom of the soul. Learn to be with yourself without entertainment, without distractions, without agenda. Allow what needs to emerge without forcing or controlling it. Explore connection with something greater than your personal identity. This doesn't necessarily mean adopting a specific religion, but cultivating a sense of belonging to something transcendent: nature, humanity, the cosmos, the mystery of existence itself. Spend time in nature, contemplate the stars, meditate on the miraculous improbability that you exist in this specific moment of cosmic history. Allow your perspective to expand beyond your immediate concerns. Honor your authentic creative impulse, whatever form it takes. You don't need to be an artist to be creative. You just need to find ways to express your unique perspective in the world. It can be through how you cook, how you organize your space, how you solve problems at work, how you relate to others. The key is finding channels for your internal essence to manifest in tangible form in the external world. Seek authentic connections with other human beings. This means going beyond superficial conversations and social roles to find spaces where you can be seen and known in your real humanity. It can be through deep friendship, therapeutic work, spiritual communities, personal growth groups, or simply honest conversations with people who value authenticity over appearance. Embrace growth as a central value in your life. This means consciously seeking experiences that challenge you, that force you to expand your comfort zone, that invite you to develop new capacities. It's not about seeking unnecessary suffering, but recognizing that authentic growth always implies a certain level of discomfort as you expand toward a larger version of yourself. Cultivate a conscious relationship with mystery and uncertainty. Instead of trying to control and predict everything, you can learn to dance with the unknown, to find beauty in impermanence, to discover freedom in the fact that you don't have to have all the answers. Existential emptiness often arises from the illusion that you should have your life completely figured out, when the truth is, life is inherently mysterious and constantly changing. Develop a spiritual practice that resonates with you. Whether meditation, prayer, contemplation, conscious movement, or any activity that connects you with deeper levels of your being. It's not about adopting dogmas, but creating regular spaces to tune into the wisdom that exists beyond daily mental noise. As you implement these practices, you'll begin to notice a subtle but profound change in your relationship with emptiness. It will no longer feel like a black hole sucking your energy, but like a sacred space where a more authentic version of yourself can be born. You'll begin to understand that emptiness wasn't the absence of something you needed to obtain, but the presence of something that already existed within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. The emptiness you feel isn't evidence that you're broken or that something fundamental is wrong in your life. It's evidence that you're a conscious being capable of perceiving there's more to existence than appears on the surface. It's proof that your soul is alive and yearning to express its deepest nature. It's an invitation to a journey of discovery that can lead you toward levels of fulfillment and meaning you didn't even know were possible. The next time you feel that familiar emptiness, instead of fleeing toward habitual distractions, try staying still with it. Breathe into it. Ask it what it wants to teach you. Allow it to be your teacher instead of your enemy. You'll discover that what you thought was your biggest problem can become your greatest gift, a door toward a more conscious, more authentic life, more connected to who you really are. The emptiness you feel is sacred. It's the way the universe whispers that you're destined for something greater than survival and comfort. It's your soul's invitation to awaken to your true potential. Don't fill it hastily. Inhabit it consciously. Allow it to transform you. On the other side of that emptiness awaits the fullest and most authentic version of yourself. The person you came to be before the world told you who you should be. If this message touched something deep in you, if you recognized your own experience in these words, share it with someone who might need to hear that their emptiness is also sacred. Sometimes, the most revolutionary thing we can do is remind another human being that their existential dissatisfaction isn't a failure, but an invitation to grow. And if you want to share how you're navigating your own existential emptiness, leave it in the comments. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to begin their own journey toward a more authentic life.